Hey everyone, come on in and join me. This was a totally unplanned live. So, no, I did not give any kind of warning or letting anybody know so that y'all could pop on, but that's okay. I just was feeling really led to pop on and share something with y'all. In fact, I was actually going to do this live in our group yesterday because of just kind of everything that was kind of involved there. But needless to say, I didn't pop one in my group yesterday to be able to do this live. So I thought, you know what? I will just do it live here on my page and I'll just share it over to the group later. And they can see why it would have made so much sense for me to be sharing yesterday. So for anyone who might be joining us on the replay, you'll know if you're here on the replay, if you do not see a little red box up above my head that says live. If you do see that little red box, then you are in fact here live. Make sure that you go ahead and say hello as well. Let me know that you are here watching. I so appreciate being able to see those comments and know that y'all are here. If anybody does comment and I am unable to see those comments, no worries. I will go back and address those in a little bit, but hopefully I'll be able to see them because it's so much better to be able to interact with you live. So I just want to share because, hey, okay, so my comments are working. Thank you so much. Hello. How are y'all doing? I'm so glad y'all could pop on because truthfully, this time of day I'm going, there's not hardly going to be anybody able to pop on and watch. So I'm glad y'all are here. But I'm going to get right into this. So many of you may know that December the 1st, we were hit with the sad news that Premier Designs and Devoted, whom I have considered my home for the last 13 and a half years, had let us know that they were going to be closing their doors. Hey, Lacey. And that was a really hard shock to our system because, I mean, that was what we've known for almost 14 years. And it was truly my love, my passion. I just truly had a passion for serving people and seeing them be encouraged and seeing them be inspired by different things, as well as to see them just kind of gain maybe a newfound confidence that they didn't previously have. Hey, Miss Donna. And needless to say, that was such a hard blow to be able to deal with that when that first, kind of came about. Thank you, Shalisa. So needless to say, it hit really hard. I was grieving quite badly. I will be honest. I was a sobbing hot mess for probably the first 3 days. I was kind of surprised that it didn't, I wasn't in shock mode. I just immediately went into grief mode and started wondering okay, now what, God? Because I kept thinking there's no way that there's another company out there that's going to offer the support, that's going to offer the love, that's going to offer the encouragement and the inspiration and everything. I thought for sure this is okay, that I'm just done with direct sales. And in fact, I told David, I'm done. I'm not doing another direct sales company. And we did have a few who had reached out. We did have one company in particular that had been trying to actually get me to come over since August. And I had zero interest. And they'd contacted me about 3 times, the last of which was less than 12 hours after we had got the notification of that. And I was just kind of no, this is too early. It's too much. I can't handle it. And needless to say, I was fully prepared to not do anything else. I was fully prepared to just give up direct sales and look for something different that wouldn't necessarily be me being in direct sales. In fact, I considered going out and getting a part-time job somewhere. I thought about places, whether it was like Hobby Lobby to be able to support that habit of mine or where it was going to be, I had no idea. But I kept going back to the whole thing of, I don't want to work for somebody else. And I don't want, listen, I've been spoiled for the last almost 14 years of being able to do my own schedule and not having to deal with somebody else telling me when I have to work, and that I have to work weekends, and that I have to work holidays, and that I have to do this, whatever. And I really didn't want to go into like an office position somewhere or things like that, even though obviously I would have learned quite a few skills over the years of being my own boss. I didn't really, that just was not a passion for me. And we didn't necessarily have to have it income wise. David makes enough to be able to cover things, but if we want to do the extras, and in some cases, if we want to eat, I have to have an income. And so it was kind of one of those where I thought, well, I'll just do crafts, or I'll just do, something like that, just to bring in just a little bit of extra money, so that we have something. But a friend of mine did bring another company to my attention. And again, it was still one of those where I'm going, nope, I'm not interested in. In fact, I even told her, no, thank you. But listen, God is so stinking faithful. Can I just tell you that? He gives us things even when we don't know that we need them. Does that make sense? So, and I'm going to do my best not to get emotional, because I did do my makeup and I don't want to ruin it. Right. So I'm going to try to not get too emotional here, and I may jump around for that very reason. So please just follow me for a moment, if you will. So anyway, so long story short, I got involved with this other company, and they have an amazing book, okay, that's called 100 Days to Dream Your Heart Out. And in fact, we gave one of these to each one of the gals who was in our downline through Devoted as kind of a parting gift, if you will. Because I just thought, I'm like, okay, we probably all need this book right now, right? We all need this book of like, dreaming your heart out, because for those of us who, suddenly were like uprooted from our business and something that we had always known, that was very tough to kind of know, like, okay, like, where do we go from here? I had all these dreams and all these goals and all these hopes, and now what, right? So yesterday, actually, I should say first, I've been doing a book study on this book that we started January 1st. And yesterday would have been the day before my official 4 weeks. Okay, so today has officially been 4 weeks since I started with the other company. Time has flown, y'all. It does not seem like that. So I want you to think about that for a second. Okay, just think about that timeline. December 1st, my world literally came crashing down. Sometime around the 5th or the 6th, I was introduced to this other company and was just flat out no, but God, right? God continues to put those things back in front of our face. And I decided to be obedient, even though it wasn't really what I wanted. And I truly was not going to do anything with it until after the first of the year. Okay. But needless to say, God had some other plans. And then yesterday, when I was reading the study, okay, when I was reading our day 4, since we started on the 1st, I just got to share this with you. It says, wait for his plan. It's risky for us to release our own plans and desires we have for our lives and the control we're holding on to, and surrender them to the Lord, trusting that he is going to take care of us. If we are handing over a part of our lives, that is scary, and it can oftentimes feel like worry and dread are taking over. Here's the deal, though. I don't think God wants that for us. I think he wants us to wait for his plan to be revealed in his own timing, with anticipation and excitement for the future. When we release control and trust in the perfection of his plan, we are realizing and acknowledging that he is going to work everything out for his glory, and our own good. And because of this, he will fill our hearts with more joy than we could ever imagine. So then the verses that go with this, the first one was, wait for the Lord, be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord, Psalm 27:14. The second one was, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go, Psalm 32:8. Those who listen to instruction will prosper. Those who trust the Lord will be joyful, Proverbs 16:20. Okay. And then the prayer for yesterday was, Lord, guard my heart from worry as I wait for you to reveal your plan for my future. Fill my heart with joy today. Okay. So then to top it off, then I had this perpetual calendar from Holly Girth. I gotta be honest, I don't even remember where I got this calendar from or how I wound up coming into possession of it. Whether it was a gift, whether it was, I don't know. Okay, but it's from Holly Girth. Those of you who don't know, we had an opportunity to hear from Holly at one of our Premier Designs national rallies. Now, one of the other fun little nuggets of information here is it's from Dayspring. Dayspring happens to be affiliated with Mary and Martha in the sense of Mary and Martha is the direct sales division of Dayspring. Gotta love it, right? And then yesterday's calendar was, you're already amazing. Getting back up when you fall down, trying again when it doesn't work. Doing the hard, the different, taking those steps of faith. Okay. Whew. Girlfriend gonna lose it, right? So needless to say, it was one of those where I'm going, oh my word, okay? And then when I also looked at everything that God has given us through blessings of this business since we started just 4 weeks ago, okay? In 4 weeks' time, we have done more sales in this than what we did in the previous company from mid-September through the end of December. We have also grown to a team of 9. So we have 8 first level and 1 second level that has all come in just in the last 4 weeks. Now, when I tell y'all that I was kind of stressed when all this first happened, because yes, well, again, like I said, David makes enough to cover our bills and the necessities, but if we want extras, if we want to pay down our debts faster, if we want groceries on certain weeks and things like that, then I have to have an income. And so I was really kind of stressing about things. But at the same time, I was so stuck in my grief that it was I wasn't willing to look at anything else. It was just like, no, anything else that is out there, I have no doubt that I want no part of it. Okay. And can I just encourage you that if you find yourself in a situation of just like straight grief and you're like, no, I'm not ready to move forward because I'm not ready to let go of this thing. But here was the thing. I didn't have control of that thing staying in my life. So God had already made that decision. He had already made the decision that business was going to be no longer. So for me to try to just hold on to that with everything that I had, that wasn't going to be good for my future because that's not where my future was going to be. So for me, it took a lot for me to say, okay, fine, I'll look at it. And when I tell you that God made me walk back to that computer numerous times to look at it, that's no exaggeration. I had pulled it up and looked at it because I had never heard of it before, didn't know what it was. Pulled it up, looked at it, and right away was kind of like, it's cute, but I'm not doing anything else. And I walked away from the computer and he made me go back to it, and I went back to it. And then I tried to be like, hey, Tori, maybe this is something you should be doing, and tried to kind of like point her in that direction. And and I shut, again, I closed myself off from it and said, but it's not for me. I'm not going to do it. And so I, turned away from it again. And then God immediately was like, you need to go back and take another look. And so I went back and looked again. And this time I actually went through and looked at many of the different pages. I started looking at their mission statement. I started looking at their vision and everything else. And as I was looking, it was just one of those where I'm going, okay, maybe I need to give this some further consideration. And the more and more that I looked at things, the more and more that I started seeing those God winks. So as an example, okay, last year, well, technically 2019, I was trying to come up with a word of the year. Okay. And as I was trying to come up with the word of the year, I kept hitting a roadblock and it was kind of like nothing was coming to mind. So I took a Dayspring quiz to find my word of the year for 2020. And that Dayspring quiz told me that my word of the year for 2020 should be the word gather. Now, y'all might understand why. By the way, they're doing construction literally right down the road. So if you're hearing beeping and all kinds of noises, it's because trucks are literally driving by my office. But anyway, so knowing what our year 2020 was, okay, having the word gather as your word of the year seemed really dumb. It was kind of like, well, so much for that word of the year. So all year I was just kind of like, I don't understand why I got this word. This word is the worst word that I could have possibly had for this year, because with everything that has been going on, the whole fact of gathering was literally stripped from us. Okay. But can I tell you that then when I became a part of Mary and Martha and found out that their shows are called gatherings, then I went, okay, nice little God wink there. I hear you. Okay. And then as I was doing trainings, and I got to tell you again, even though I had no actual thought process of trying to do something before the first of the year, I had it in my head like, listen, I'm going to close out the year with Devoted. But what wound up happening was something very different, because I started doing the trainings right away, because I'm going, okay, I at least want to do the trainings so that I know what I'm doing when it comes around to the first. As I start doing the trainings, one of the very first things that they said in one of the trainings was, first off, I think it was Stephen from Home Office, the business director, had said that he had wanted to pray for those who would be watching this video, which is the different, each consultant, as they come in, they're seeing these training videos. So he, prayed over those of us watching the training video. And one of the other things that he had shared was one of their just think statements. And the just think statement goes something like, just think, you are not here by chance, but by God's choosing. And those of you who know anything about Premiere, who spend any kind of length of time in Premiere, that might sound a little familiar to you, because ours in Premiere was not by chance, but by design. So again, it was one of those where I just felt like that was another little God wink, just another little thing. Another was realizing how many Dayspring items I already had in my house that I never even put kind of two and two together. And so just different things like that just kept kind of hitting. Again, while we were doing training videos, I came across Belinda Ellsworth. She was someone who we had done trainings with she was a direct sales trainer. And I had been to a training of hers and had some of her materials and things like that. And it was kind of like when she popped up on the screen, I'm going, hey, I know that lady. And so just a lot of different things that kind of kept happening that I'm going, Okay, God just kept confirming over and over and over again. And when I got my kit in the mail, to be able to see that there was a letter in there from the home office that stated that they prayed over the kit and prayed over the business of the consultant who would be receiving that kit, that just again struck a chord with me in such a beautiful way, because being Christ-centered was something that I always loved about Premier. And so it was very important to me that if I was going to be involved with anybody, I wanted to be involved with a company that was so Christ-centered, and they were unapologetically Christ-centered, that there was going to be no doubt that that business had the hands of God on it. Okay. And so that was a huge thing for me, to just see that over and over and over again. And to know that I was honoring God by being obedient in that moment of just absolute utter grief, because I didn't want it to be over. But the fact of the matter was, I didn't have a choice. So I had to trust that God was doing this for a purpose, that he, still had a plan for me, that my purpose and my plan doesn't end with the ending of a company. Okay. And so that was a big thing for me. So all that to share that I just wanted you to, first off, for those of you who have already been supporting us in this business, for those of you who have already been loving on us and sending us encouragement, and those of you who have entrusted us to continue serving with you and have joined our team, I want to thank you so very much for that. The other thing that I want to share is, if you are somebody who is still kind of going through that grieving process, don't miss the signs that God might already be showing you for the next direction that he has planned for you. Maybe that would be with a company like Mary and Martha. Maybe it's not, and that's okay too. There are lots of great companies and businesses out there. I would certainly never claim that this is the only place that you would be loved on, or that this is the only place where you're. That's simply not true, and I know that. But I can tell you that for myself, this was where God was leading me. And even though initially I was stepping into it somewhat kicking and screaming, I was also being obedient in that even though it wasn't something that I was ready for, it was kind of like, God, if you're pushing me this direction, and you just keep giving me sign after sign after sign after sign that this is where I need to be and what I need to be doing, then I'm going to be obedient in that. So I would just encourage you today to be obedient, even if it's something that you're kind of like, I just don't know that I can do this. I just don't know that I'm ready for this. Trust me, God has already given you the skills necessary for your next chapter of your book, because again, the ending of a company does not mean the end of your story. God's still got more for you. So for anyone who may be interested, again, I don't want to be salesy here, but if anybody is interested in hearing more about the Mary and Martha opportunity, they actually are going to be doing a Zoom later this afternoon, evening technically, sorry. They're going to be doing that at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight. So if that's something that you just like to listen in on, just so that you can see what it is that I got involved with, then you can certainly do that, and I would be happy to get the information to you. But you can also find it already shared on my page as well. So thank you guys so very much for just being here and listening. I so appreciate it. And I just want to encourage you again, just be obedient to God, and he's going to be faithful to you. Thanks so much, guys.